will actually continue with the power or the potential of creating fictional characters, different types of languages, and also the female voice with Femke, who's our next speaker. Femke Herregraven. Femke is an artist based in Amsterdam. She has a research practice that explores the intersection of global finance, geopolitics, and information. She looks at self-organizing systems where the flow of energy change the flow of history and the flow of individual lives. And today she will be speaking about ecological catastrophes and the prospect role of the female role in all of this. Thank you.
Hi everyone. While we're starting the presentation, I would like to say I'm very thankful and happy and honored to be here today, and it's also really great to meet you all and the artists and maybe to say, you will see a lot of images. It can be quite messy, but I just would like to share basically research with you and a kind of way of thinking. If you don't understand certain things that I'm mentioning about the world of finance, don't worry. This is just to sketch a landscape, so you get an idea of what I would like to work on for the biennial. I would say this is a bit of a motto, singing against the discourse of doom, and hopefully this will become more clear at the end. We're all bodies of water. I would like you to remember this thought. We're all bodies of water. Yeah. I'm showing you this fragment of a video from an installation, and this is just to dive immediately into 3 aspects in my work that are currently very relevant. One is water, the second is speculation, and the third is catastrophe. What you're looking at here, it's an application that I made. Basically, it was made from hacked software from the maritime industry. And what this application does is that it tries to model a phenomenon that is called a parametric role. Parametric role is a quite recent phenomenon where container ships have become so big, carrying so much cargo in the worldwide economy, that they increasingly tip over. And the video that I showed you is about trying to understand and measure when this tipping point will happen. Whereas here it's about real trade and real goods that are transported around the world. A lot of my work is actually about the financial world. And the financial world is the part of the economy that is in a way really virtualized money. And what is interesting if we think about the concept of water, or the space of water, that will come back also, is that finance of course uses a lot of these terminologies relating to water and liquidity. Also, capital, like water, always finds the way of the least resistance. And I would like to show you briefly some things that I'm researching. It's a bit informative, but hopefully it tries to hopefully you understand why I'm interested in these kind of systems of finance. So what you're looking at here is a screenshot from a trader screen on Wall Street. This is called high-frequency trading, and this is trading done by algorithms, automated trading, and it happens in 1,000th of a second. So what you're looking at here is 1,000th of a second, and all the red dots, in a way, are trades on global stock exchanges. What happens sometimes when these algorithms crash is that we get mini flash crashes. And what appears then, looking back in the data, is that there are strange patterns emerge. This pattern is nicknamed by traders the knife, and it was part of the flash crash in 2010. This one they call full moon rising. So there's a sort of spiritual element to it. This one is Cherokee Nation. This one is Enchanted Forest. And for me it's interesting how these traders on Wall Street have almost a spiritual reading of these algorithms crashing on their screen. Here I'm just quickly showing you some old works. I make these kind of material witnesses, sculptures that kind of testify of these moments. I'm just briefly going through it. This particular one has to do with a moment that is called the hack crash. This is again a screenshot from a trader screen. And what you're looking at here is total mayhem, total chaos on financial markets. And this happened because of this tweet on the left. Someone hacked the Associated Twitter press account and tweeted in 2013, breaking 2 explosions in the White House, Barack Obama is injured. Of course, what happens on Twitter, everybody retweets it many, many times. So in a few minutes, there were more than 4,000 retweets. What trading algorithms do on Wall Street is that they read Twitter, Facebook to make more informed decisions. So trading algorithms thought this news was real, and they started selling like crazy, like this. 2.4 billion dollars vaporized in 1.5 minutes. What for me is interesting about this moment, and is very well mentioned here, so that's why I would like to read it. These operations are so fast that the future, rather than being accurately predicted, is in fact invoked as the now. Arguably then, in the hack crash, the futurity of crisis became present. Not because it was falsely predicted, but because the interplay of social media and financial market had the capability to invoke it into being. So what you're seeing here is all this monitoring of the financial market is actually not measuring something that is out there, but it's actually creating a reality. From that, I would like to almost express my concern about another financial product that is creating a reality and a future, very much so, I think. And this has to do with our future as catastrophe. So here on the left side, you see a diagram from a new financial product called a species swap derivative, where they're trading on the extinction of animals. So this is what they're betting on Wall Street. On the right, you see another financial instrument called catastrophe bonds. And catastrophe bonds, or maybe just to say briefly, our life, the life of animal, is financialized through these products, right? They can be traded on markets. That's important to mention. This work, very briefly, there are 2 lightboxes. On the left side, you see a table from 1662 made by a London researcher, the table of casualties, and this table is known as the first mortality table. The researcher here, if we call him researcher in 1662, but he was measuring, keeping track of what people died of at the time. So for the first time, there was a historical pattern of what people died of. And the things people died of are quite interesting. They're like wolf, or drowned in the bath, or worms, and teeth and worms, okay, mosquito. The other light box indexes these cat bonds that I showed before. And cat bonds, in a way they're catastrophe bonds, they basically speculate on when the next natural disaster might happen, how much damage it will cause, how much people will die, etc. So it's really speculating on the future as a catastrophe. Then I have to really briefly skip through all of this because I have 3 minutes left. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, I guess I have to go through this. So I think what I'm interested in, here is an image, there's again another big light box, of all the catastrophe bonds that have been ever issued on financial markets. And what it does on the timeline, it creates a score for the future. And you see our score is completely filled up with catastrophes. And so from working on this for 2 years, I asked myself the question, how can we deal with the future that is already rendered, mapped, calculated, and traded as a catastrophe? Is there something to say in a future like that? From that, and I had to skip the research, so apologies for that, but is this sound? There's a sound. Okay, then I have sorry. I quickly go back and explain it in another way. Sorry. So, against against the cat bonds, I'm working with this idea of the aquatic ape theory. This is a theory by a Wales researcher who passed away in 2013. And since the 70s, she's been writing about how human evolution had an aquatic phase. So we, as humans, lived close by the water in her hypothesis in order to escape from catastrophes from the land. And she believes that because we lived by the water, we developed something called the diving reflex. The diving reflex is the moment when we go underwater, we do this, and because of that, we can survive underwater a bit longer. And she believes that because we have this diving reflex, we slowly learn to control our breath. We slowly learn to hum, like, we slowly learn to sing, and we eventually develop speech. So she believes in a way that the diving reflex created our possibility to speak. And so I'm working on this, there's sound files, but unfortunately I can't play it to you, on the female voice that emerges from the water in times of catastrophe. And for this particular research that I'm going to develop here, I'm going to skip through this as well. I'm interested in Jeju Island, and especially in the Hanjo women, or the sea women, which is a very strong tradition and very strong communities of female divers that for centuries have been diving in these waters around Jeju. Time is up. Okay, maybe I just, these were my points, but sorry for the,
Thank you, Femke.